What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. Lots of updates over the passenger jet Black Hawk helicopter situation. I talked about in my first video a little bit about the pilot and really what led to the crash. I'll recap what led to the crash in this video, but I wanted to separate the air traffic control issue because there was some pretty startling news coming out of ATC yesterday that, essentially they were wildly understaffed. Nobody is surprised to hear this, but this is more evidence about, we talked about yesterday, there's literally a lawsuit that ATC turned down perfectly qualified white male candidates from taking the job. Hundreds of them, 900, I believe, are on a class action lawsuit so that they could fulfill diversity quotas. Sure seems like it would have been nice to have a few more white guys in the ATC yesterday. I know some ATC. I've talked to ATC about it. This crash boils down to the Black Hawk helicopter not being at the correct altitude. Over the Potomac River, there is a 200-foot ceiling for this flight, meaning the maximum altitude of the helicopters who are making this flight from the military base is 200 feet. So they must be below that. Where the crash occurred was at nearly 400 feet. So the Black Hawk helicopter was 200 feet almost higher than where it should have been. That's why they collided. Now, did ATC tell them to descend? We don't know that answer yet. We do know that it was a pilot in training with 500 hours, which is a lot for helicopter hours. It's not the same as plane hours. And this is likely a failure of the crew on the Black Hawk helicopter that simply lost, unless the black box tells us they had a equipment malfunction, they just lost sight of how high they were flying. If they were staying under the 200-foot ceiling, this crash never would have happened. They would have passed right underneath the plane, would have been fine. This new video came out, which I showed.
These videos obtained exclusively by CNN show previously unseen angles of the collision between an American Airlines flight and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. In the first video, the Black Hawk can be seen flying at speed over the Potomac from the left side of the screen.
So they're at, about 300 feet. About 300 to 350 feet based on their flight tracker data, which is pretty accurate based on the transponder data.
The American Airlines plane can be seen.
If they were down here, never would have happened. If they were 150 feet lower, like they should have been, never would have happened.
Flying towards the air.
You, of course, see the helicopter. The helicopter never saw them. Maybe there was an equipment malfunction and it was their altimeter told them they were at 200, but they're really at 400. It's possible. It's possible.
Airport before.
What did air traffic control do to stop it? By the way, we're going to talk about this at depth today on our live stream. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to Quartercast. I'll leave it linked in the comment section. But also, if you want to support free speech, download the Rumble app and follow the Quartering. Even if you don't use Rumble for everything, I'd love for you to at least watch my live streams there. We're live at 1 Eastern, Monday through Friday, and we have a lot of fun on the show. Today, Luke Rudkowski is my co-host. Air traffic controller who was doing the job of two people during the DC plane crash due to the tower being understaffed. Air traffic controller on duty at the time of the deadly passenger plane helicopter crash in Washington, D.C. was doing the work of two people, FAA administration said. Staffing in the ATC control tower at Ronald Reagan National Airport was not normal for that time of day and that volume of traffic, the FAA has now found in its preliminary report. So if they had had more people there, is it possible someone would have noticed that Black Hawk helicopter was flying too low or too high and been able to communicate to them more quickly? I think that answer is yes. I think that ATC could have prevented this. Understaffing resulted in a controller pulling double duty, overseeing helicopters while also guiding arriving and departing planes. That's everything. That's everything right there. If you had one person dedicated to watching helicopters, they would have never let that happen. This wouldn't have happened. This is, first of all, the helicopter's at the wrong altitude. It's their fault. Okay? It's not, when you're a pilot, it's not your job to be, waiting for ATC to tell you what to do. You're supposed to know that flight plan. You're supposed to know where you're allowed to be, where you're not allowed to be. ATC may tell you once you arrive at an airport, hey, go to this runway, that runway, increase your speed, decrease your speed, go higher, go lower. But everywhere in between, it's your responsibility to know exactly where you're supposed to be. All right? They were on a flight. This helicopter was on a flight pattern that is set to stay below 200 feet. They did not do that. And on top of that, air traffic control was not there to tell them to descend. That's what happened. Right? These responsibilities are normally split between two controllers. So when you have one controller, you have increased error. You got one eye on both. The airport's air traffic control facilities have been understaffed for years, with only 19 fully certified controllers on deck as of September 2023, according to ATC. In that plan, ATC said it is committed to maximum hiring for the next 2 years to recover from substantial underhiring during the COOF. Well, that was 6 years ago. I know the left likes to use ATC, right? I know we are use ATC, use the COOF as an excuse for everything and forever. You should have staffed up immediately. People's lives are on the line. And also, by the way, there was another near miss at this exact same spot. The exact same spot. They recovered the voice recorders. I don't need the voice recorder to tell you what went wrong. Right? American Airlines plane crashed in D.C. just 24 hours after an eerily similar near miss between a jet and a helicopter. You could see this video here. You see the jet coming in. I don't know if that's going to tell us anything. Way down on the left here is DCA. Planes coming in. Let's see. How do I know there's a near miss? They're doing that dogleg landing thing. Oh, they had some sort of go-around. Yeah, they did another go-around. So it looks like they were ready to land, but they went around. Yep, this is what happened here. So there's no audio, but you can see oh, here you go. Here's the helicopter. They showed you at the end. There was a near miss just 24 hours before. A passenger flight had to abort landing at Reagan the day before. Republic Airways 4514 was forced to back out of touching down and had to make a second approach after a helicopter appeared near its flight path. That's according to audio recording from ATC, captured Tuesday. How often has this happened? How often has this happened? It happened just the day before, and nobody said, yo, that was a near miss. Maybe we need to, figure out how to staff up. By the way, it's not just DC. Here's the Bay Area, San Francisco. Key airport along approach to SFO, that's the San Francisco Airport call sign, may lose all air traffic controllers this week. All of them. You have here, they want you to log in. I don't want to log in. This is from the Mercury News. It's a local paper. They're talking about it. Because they're being understaffed due to safety concerns. Now, here's what the chief of ATC said about having only two people doing four people's jobs.
Now, for this tragedy, the aviation community is a very small community. We pray for all the families that are out there, and we are coming together to ensure that the air traffic controllers that are impacted by this, it's not just those that are on duty, but all of them are across America, that they know that each and every one of them, that we're thinking about them, that we're there with them, and that we are upholding the utmost confidence of this system because of the hardworking men and women. But specifically to the question, right now, we have a controller shortage in this nation. 10,800 certified controllers are out there doing this job day in, day out.
Who's stopping you from hiring? Who has stopped the FAA from hiring ATC for the last 10 years? This is such an infuriating BS, blame the next guy answer.
should be 14,335. Now, the specifics to this situation itself, since it's under investigation, I can't speak directly to that.
You
but
can't
it is
speak about it.
not uncommon for us to routinely combine positions, decombine positions. There is usually someone in a supervisory position looking at the overall workload and complexity in order to make those determinations of what positions we need open and when we need them open.
I mean, we've known this is going to happen. People in the flight community, pilots have known for a very long time. Control tower at National Airport understaffed before deadly collision. Here you have, on Wednesday evening, the position of helicopter controller, a role typically staffed until 9:30 p.m., have been combined ahead of the crash with the local controller. According to the report, doubling up on those roles can create challenges for ATC, especially if airspace is busy. The roles using different radio frequencies, and the airplane pilots and helicopter pilots cannot necessarily hear each other if they're both in touch with the tower, because the military can use different frequencies, right, that the airplanes are not on. Neither FAA or the NATCA have immediately responded. They were playing a dangerous game, a very dangerous and deadly game with people's lives, because the federal government or the FTC or the FAA. Wow, too many three letters. The FAA or the people in charge of air traffic control were trying to get too many diversity hires, or whatever the case may be. This is an absolute embarrassment, and 70 people died because of it. People should be held accountable for this, and I hope a full investigation does just that. I hope you're informed by this video. If you were, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.